Thank you so much, Ruby, and I deeply appreciate the kind of introduction you have made. I'm deeply obliged, and many thanks, Deeptesh, for inviting me for this webinar. I also extend my heartfelt thanks to all the participants here who found some time out of their busy schedule and joined this webinar. Before diving deep to the different career opportunities in analytics and AI, let me first introduce you what this analytics is all about, what this AI all about, and then I shall subsequently go into the different career opportunities and the prerequisites to join this kind of programs. So uh, you must be knowing that business intelligence is not something very new, and we are doing those kind of works, kind of generating standard reports, ad hoc reports from quite some time. We are defining that what's going on in the market, what kind of sales is taking place, who are the different salespersons, what a kind of business they are doing. So that's the kind of business intelligence which was there in the market for decades, I guess. Yeah. And then we slowly moved to the business analytics part. We evolved to business analytics, where we are doing a lot of forecasting. We do the predictive modeling. Forecasting includes the sales forecasting, demand forecasting. That means we are visioning that what is going to happen in the future. And in the predictive modeling part, what we do, we try to figure out the impact of the different factors on a particular phenomena. Phenomena can be sales, for instance. So what's the impact of the, say, the Facebook ads, YouTube ads, the different kinds of promotions, the different kinds of prices on the sales? And that's the kind of predictive modeling we do. And optimization comes to play when we want to maximize the sales or minimize our losses, but we have got several constraints, and we work the business entire business houses, the business phenomena works under several constraints. And when we try to model the constraints and try to maximize the sales, such kind of work comes under the optimization. So this entire portfolio that starts from the statistical analysis, forecasting, predictive modeling, and optimization, that comes under the umbrella of business analytics. So that's the evolution from our traditional business intelligence market research to a business analytics, which is pretty futuristic in nature. Next slide, please. Yeah. So I was exactly discussing this part. The basic or the very fundamental one is about the descriptive one, where we are discussing the standard reporting part. That is what happened. That means what's the sales, what is the quantity of the sales, who has made the sales, what are the sales of the different stores in a particular territory. That's exactly what's happening in the market. Then we move to the next level of predictive analytics. What that's all about the. Don't go to the next slide. Please come back. Yeah. Go to the next level of predictive analytics, which includes the alerts, the simulation, the forecasting. Like we are trying to predict or we are trying to visualize what is going to happen in the market. So what will happen next if, say, for example, if the price drops or if the price increases, how will it leave an impact on the sales? So that's the kind of predictive modeling we develop. And the last or the final part is about the prescriptive analytics, where we try to figure out that how can you achieve the best outcome given certain constraints or given certain restrictions, where we apply the different linear programming techniques, integer programming techniques, even sometimes the genetic algorithms or the swarm optimization techniques. So that's the three layers of the descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive analytics. Yeah, next slide, please. So here I'm going to discuss with you about the steps of the data science projects, about what the kind of tasks that needs to be done. And that has a kind of importance in our whole discussion. Why it is important? You will understand that the similar skills are not required for the different steps of the project. So from that perspective, it's important to understand the tasks. Say, for instance, the first task, first step, or the first task is about the business understanding. Now, this has got nothing much to do with the modeling part. So folks who will work in this kind of scenario about the business understanding part, perhaps their domain knowledge skills are more important than the statistics or mathematics skills. So we will discuss this part in detail in my subsequent slides, but this is just to give you an overview about what are the steps. Like it starts with the business understanding. Then the next step is about the data mining, where we gather the data, collect the data, script the necessary data for the project. Then we clean the data in the third step. We explore to form the hypothesis. Then we do the feature engineering. Again, a very important part. What we do here is that we try to create the new variables which are more meaningful given the particular business or given the particular project, and creating the new variables come from the existing variables that are given. Then comes that means at the sixth step only we sometimes think that the predictive modeling is the be all end all scenario, but that's not like that. It comes only at the 6 steps. So you can imagine that so many tasks needs to be done before arriving here. The predictive modeling part, though that's the heart of the problem, but there are a lot of other activities that precedes it and that follows this predictive modeling part. And when I'm saying predictive modeling, it is not only just about the model development part, it is also about the model validation. And finally, it's about presenting your model, presenting the outcome by dint of data visualization. So that's the kind of complete story. And we will see subsequently that for each of these parts or each of these tasks, each of these steps, the skill requirements are different. And when I say skill requirements are different, it also means that the career path are different for each of these. So yeah, let's move. Yeah. So this is all about again giving a kind of overview about the artificial intelligence, what happens in artificial intelligence in the sense that we do a lot of image or video analytics, we do a lot of speech mining. I must mention here that when I say speech mining, it is not only about natural language processing. It is not only about the text mining. We also do a lot of intonation mining to understand about the customer service performance, to understand how the product or the service that has been positioned has been taken or understood by the market or perceived by the market. So speech mining is much more advanced than the natural language processing or the text mining, where we just play with the words on the sentences. Uh, in the words of sentences, we do a lot of sentiment mining or sentiment analytics, but that doesn't tell you exactly about the phonetics, tone, buzzword search, or even the intonation. And coming to the image or video analytics, that's a part of the recent development of deep learning, where convolutional neural network plays a very critical role in the deep learning part. And we do a lot of image analysis, event analysis, where we figure out or classify. As you can see the image here at the bottom, we are applying the convolutional neural network along with ReLU to figure out whether the image is a kind of car, truck, van, or bicycle. So that's the kind of image classification. We do the same thing for video analytics as well. So whenever a person is moving, we can figure out that whether it's a kind of, first of all, it's a human being or not. And then a lot of deep dive analytics goes, like we figure out even the attitude of the person, what's the motion of the person, what's the location. So a lot of object motion, style detection, location detection takes place, which gives a lot of insight for several applications. It can be from ranges from the security to a lot of content analysis, which we do for the online platforms. So that's the kind of brief overview about the artificial intelligence part. Let's move. Yeah. So this is about the career opportunities. Now you will understand what I was trying to say in my previous slide, where I was trying to walk you through the different tasks. So you can clearly see here that there are three distinct groups. The groups are business stakeholder, data scientist, and the data engineer. Now, all those three folks or the three groups or the three segments join hands to make the data science project a successful one. But the kind of skill sets required or the careers for the career profile, career path for these three skill sets are very different. Say, for instance, a data scientist needs to master the core skills are the coding languages like Python, R. It requires the knowledge of distributed computing, machine and deep learning, feature engineering and predictive modeling, statistics and maths, the storytelling to some extent, and the visualization. So that's the core skills of a data scientist. Whereas the person who is going the pre-sales work, for instance, or doing the kind of account management or client handling, he is a kind of business stakeholder. And for that purpose, a person what's required are very different. Like that person needs to think through ROI, NPV, the domain expertise, the value chains, financial analysis. So a lot of critical thinking, business intelligence, storytelling, the data stewardship, data management, communicating the findings. Those things are much more important for a business guy who again is an integral part of the analytics projects. And the data engineers again come with a very different skill sets. Say, for instance, initially a lot of ETL work is required to bring the data to the model. So they help in developing the ETL tools, the database systems, the Hadoop ecosystem, the developing the data APIs, data warehousing, so working with unstructured data. So they primarily do the collecting, managing, analyzing, and build, deploy the infrastructure or architecture. So for instance, once the model gets developed, the model needs to be deployed at the client's server. So in such scenarios, the data engineers plays a critical role. So that's how you can see that even if it is only one word analytics or one word artificial intelligence, but how the different streams emerge from the different stacks or the different scenarios within the analytics projects. We will take it. This is a very interesting slide. I'm sure many of you have or might have different kind of questions. I shall glad to answer or clarify this thing better if it is still completely not clear. Yeah, next slide, please. Now, the basic fundamental question is that are you made for analytics? That's a very, very, very important question. Let's not go with the kind of flow because analytics is the buzzword. Everybody is pursuing analytics. Let me also be a kind of artificial intelligence professional. It sounds cool. I understand it sounds cool, but that will not give you the happiness in the long run unless you judge yourself that you are really made for that particular profession. So ask yourself that do you really love numbers? Are you really passionate about numbers? Do you see numbers everywhere? Do you really have a research bent of mind? Why something is happening? Are you really that curious? Do you have that? Do you nurture, not only have, do you nurture the intellectual curiosity to the different aspects of life? It is not only about your studies. Suppose you are watching a cricket match. Why a particular bowler is bowling in a particular way, or why the fielding is in a particular way? That's the kind of the intellectual curiosity one can generate, or the analytical thinking one can have, even if it is something very different from the studies. And you have the problem solving ability. So even if it is something, again, nothing to do with the studies as such, but something given to you and you perhaps have got not much clue, but still can you do some kind of quick fix and solve it, accomplish the challenge? So that's the kind of, are you made for those kind of things? If yes, if you really have that in you, then developing the skill sets won't be a major challenge. But these are some kind of more fundamental things which are which one should what which one cannot difficult because they are integral to your character, that integral to your personality. You can learn a coding language like R, Python. You can learn mathematics, statistics, but you cannot learn how to love numbers. That has to be with you, right? So that's what I would like to pinpoint here. So that you should be thoroughly clear. Are you made for analytics or not? Yeah, let's move to the next slide. Now, the data scientist must have skills. So once you're very sure, yes, I am made for analytics. I am the future data scientist. I can do wonder in artificial intelligence. Then the questions comes about acquiring the skills. Acquiring the skills includes the mathematics and statistics. You should have a sound or decent understanding of the statistical algorithms or how the statistical science, if you're not from a mathematics or statistics background, and then you must have a very basic understanding. Fundamentals should be very clear. Then the other part is the programming and database. So you should have the coding skills. That's again a kind of must-have skill. You should be comfortable with at least a couple of languages like R and Python. Other than, it would be good if you can also develop your hands in this Spark, Scala, or any of the licensed software like SAS or SQL. So that's the programming and database part. Uh, again, the other integral part which goes hand in hand with maths and programming is the domain knowledge. So you have to understand its business analytics. So you have to understand where the analytics gets applied, where the analytics gets implemented, and it helps in generating or churning the value for the client. So you need to understand the domain knowledge. Let's say, for instance, you are developing a model for the automobile sector. So you need to understand why people purchase auto, or what are the key factors in making an auto sales happen, or it can be for the pharmaceutical. So it can be across multiple sectors, multiple verticals, and you are supposed to know at least some basic business understanding of the different verticals, different functional areas. So that's a very important requirement about the business knowledge, business understanding of the data science part. And finally, it is have to have that communication and the visualization skill. So what does that mean? It is good that if you have the modeling skill, but it is definitely not sufficient just to have the modeling skills. You can be a very good statistician, very good coder, but that doesn't make you a very good data scientist. So as I say, that it's a necessary skill to learn coding, but that's not sufficient. It is necessary to learn statistics to be a data scientist, but that's not sufficient. You need to tell it as a story. See, you have to understand one thing, that the business guys who are running the business, they might not have that solid statistics or mathematics knowledge. They might not be interested about your code. That's quite possible, because they, at the end of the day, what matters to them is that, are you adding significant value to the business? That's what it's all about. So you have to communicate your analytics, your models, your codes into their language. That is the storytelling skills. So you have to clearly explain that, yes, look, even if you can't appreciate my models, but this is how, it helps in generating the revenue, or it helps in curbing the cost. So that's the kind of beauty you have to bring into your storytelling exercise. And of course, for that purpose also, you need to learn certain software like the dashboarding software like Tableau, or even it can be Power BI, or any other software you are comfortable with. Yeah, next slide, please. So how we make you ready? So you understood, that's how my story goes. I initially made you understood about what analytics and AI is. After that, I made you understand that what kind of tasks are there, what kind of steps are there within data science. I also made you understand that within the data science spectrum, within the area of data science, what are the different kind of careers emerge, and what kind of tasks one need to do, what kind of soft skills and what kind of hard skills one need to develop to be a good data scientist. Now, the last but not the least is that how we make you ready, what kind of role we play in helping you nurturing and developing these skills. So for that purpose, I break all the courses, the analytics courses, into three groups or three segments. The first one is about AI, ML analytics, NLP fundamental courses. So like AI, ML primer, ML cloud, how you can make it, say, deploy a model into Azure, or deploy a model into AWS or Google Cloud, or even run the models. Everything is done nowadays in the cloud. So how you can, it is again necessary but not sufficient just to learn the statistical coding through R or Python. It should talk to cloud. So how to manage that part, the data management and the dedicated course for Python or AI NLP. Then we have got the vertical analytics training course, like industry wise. It can be auto analytics, retail analytics, telecom analytics, actuarial analytics, manufacturing analytics. And we also have the horizontal training course. Suppose somebody is interested only about marketing, only about human resource. So we can teach them a lot of marketing analytics techniques like marketing mix modeling, the pricing analytics, the churn or the retention analytics. We can teach the market basket analysis. We can teach what kind of pricing optimization that take place. We can discuss about the customer segmentation. So all these details of the course outline are available in my website, tuhin.ai. You have to just go to the homepage and download the training brochure. It's there. Or you can also coordinate with Deeptest or Ruby, and they can also help you out in figuring out the course outline, give you the details. Thank you so much. So I'm handing it over to Ruby to take it forward.